Welcome to Study Loop.
An allergic response can lead to a person's death. So basically, obviously, allergies are triggered when an allergen, so a foreign particle that is harmless, is recognized by the immune system as it should because it is a foreign particle, and leads to the proliferation of B cells that produce antibodies that bind to mast cells. And the second time there's an exposure, allergens bind to the antibodies on mast cells, which cause the release of histamine. The release of histamine leads to a condition known as vasodilation. So histamine is normally produced in inflammation so that blood vessels dilate, and thus more white blood cells can come to the area of inflammation and recruit more white blood cells to help with the fight. But in other cases, with vasodilation comes a drop in blood pressure, so which is dangerous, especially when an allergic response is especially severe. So A states that the allergen, so now we're going to try to explain how an allergic response can lead to a person's death. A states that the allergen may bind to hemoglobin, decreasing the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen, causing instant death. So this is not true. Allergens never bind to hemoglobin. That is just unheard of. What binds to hemoglobin is oxygen. B states that if a person has a very strong and fast response to an allergen, this condition is also known as anaphylactic shock. The tissues in the throat can swell. So yes, swelling is key because of vasodilation, so much in a very short time that the person cannot breathe. And blood pressure may increase. So blood pressure does not increase, it decreases, as I mentioned before. So we can eliminate B. C states that if a person has a very strong and fast response to an allergen, the tissues in the throat can swell. True. So much in a very short time that the person cannot breathe, and blood pressure may drop very quickly. Oxygen will reach cells at a faster rate. Well, if oxygen reaches cells at a faster rate, then why is it causing death? So that is not true. D states that if a person has a very strong and fast response to an allergen, the tissues in the throat can swell so much in a very short time that the person cannot breathe and blood pressure may drop very quickly. And therefore, as a result, oxygen will not be carried to the brain and the person may die. Yes. If blood pressure drops, then we can imagine as the blood vessels dilate, this blood is traveling at a slower rate, and thus it can't reach the brain as quickly, which is very dangerous, especially when there's a sudden vasodilation. So therefore, the correct answer to this question we can say is D.